Hey everyone, welcome back to another Mattel Jurassic World Dominion review. Today we're going to check out the Ferocious pack, Wave 3, Bane of my collecting existence, Einiosaurus. That's right, I'm not done doing Dominion reviews. Just when I moved on to Dino Trackers, I finally found the elusive Einiosaurus. In all honesty, I've given up hope that I would never find this figure. I know it's been hitting store shelves here and there for the last couple months. I went to Walmart more times than I care to admit to try to find this figure. Never saw any Wave 3 figures on the shelf. I was talking to one of my friends on Instagram. Said he found them at Walmart. So I gave up a couple weeks ago looking for it. I just popped in one more time before work and the whole entire wave was sitting on the shelf. So I'm finally happy to cross this figure off my list. It would have been the first figure I've missed in the Mattel line since I started collecting it if I didn't get my hands on it. So yeah, it's popping up in Walmart. It's not available anywhere online to order. It hasn't popped up on Amazon. Yeah, it's on Target site, but it's always out of stock. So yeah, just the case with every last wave in a series before the next series start. They're always really, really hard to find. But the holiday shopping season is upon us, so all these stores are probably just clearing out their warehouse to get the toys on the shelves. So maybe this will become a little bit more common in the next couple weeks. So let's take a look at the Dominion packaging one last time, since this would be my last Dominion review. It's the Dominion package we've been seeing since the line came out. Rexy over here, nighttime sky, friggin' helicopter, spinning it around. Get a picture of the other figures available in this wave: the red Velociraptor, the Atrociraptor. Moros has popped up again, even though it showed up in a much nicer paint scheme. I was thinking about picking that one up. I wasn't a huge fan of the first release, but I did pick it up to send to one of my collector friends that was having trouble trying to find it, and the Einiosaurus. So enough about the packaging. Let's crack this figure open and take a closer look. And here is the elusive Einiosaurus out of the packaging, a ceratopsian species so cool Jack Horner refused to describe it. Yeah, so really excited to finally have this figure in my hand. It's always exciting to add another ceratopsian species to the Jurassic collection. I think Mattel did a pretty good job on it. It looks like an Einiosaurus. The head shape is right. The nose horn is a little bit stylized, but that's the case for pretty much every figure in this line. Really like the dark blue plastic that they used for the head. The lower jaw is cast in a lighter blue plastic, so it really differentiates the upper and lower jaws. Rest of the body is cast in that light blue. And you have some of this like greenish yellow for the hind legs and the underbelly. One thing I don't like about it, it has this weird like crocodile like keeled scales along the back, which is very unceratopsian like. But for this is a rare case where the lack of paint apps kind of distract away from it. Doesn't really draw attention to it. You know what I'm saying? And another thing I just say, this figure, I think the paint apps are just okay on it. Dominion is one of the worst painted lines in the entire Jurassic series. It was their premiere movie line, and all the paint jobs for the most part were just really sparse and terrible. The sculpts were great, but man, every year Mattel, the sculpts get better and the paint apps get worse. Dino Trackers looks a little bit more promising, but yeah, the paint apps, man, they just kill me with this line. Now for some measurements, this figure is 6.5 inches long from the tip of the snout to the tip of the tail, or 16.5 centimeters, and about 3 inches tall to the top of the frill, or 7.6 centimeters. So Einiosaurus in real life was 15 feet long, or 4.5 meters. So I'll put this figure somewhere in the 1/27 scale range. And now let's take a look at the head sculpt on this figure. Like I said earlier, this is a pretty good head sculpt for an Einiosaurus. All the ornamentation on it is correct, other than the nose horn. Nose horn is just a little bit stylish, but I don't mind that at all. You have a little bit of brown on the tip of the horn. Kind of wish the rest of the horn was a different color instead of that base dark blue plastic. The eye is painted yellow with a black pupil. You can see the head is sculpted in this really dark blue, and then this nice light blue for the rest of the body, so a nice differentiation between the upper and lower jaws. On the frill, you do have a nice splash of yellow and orange on the fenestras, very nicely done. And then come over this side. Yep, there we go. There is the classic misprinted eye that plagues so many Mattel figures. It's been a lot of people's #1 quality control complaint about Mattel with the eyes. It just never seems to get better. And every time I find a friggin' rare figure, the eye is always misprinted. I'll probably never find another Einiosaurus on the shelf again. So beggars can't be choosers. So every time I look at this, it's going to just piss me off ever so slightly. Now going down to the body, front legs are nicely sculpted. Toe claws aren't painted in. Some nice scale detail all over the body. Got some large osteoderms sculpted over the thigh. You got this yellowish green color for the leg. The leg's actually cast in it, and then it's painted blue. Some nice color matching on the blue paint with the base plastic. Same thing for the underside. You have all that nice greenish yellow color for the underbelly. Going up to the top, like I said, you have this weird like keeled scale, which is very, very odd looking for a ceratopsian. But like I said, the lack of paint apps really doesn't draw attention to it, so it's really not that big of a deal. And before we forget, let's pop out the DNA code so those who want to scan it into the fax app. And then going down to the tail, you get more of that keeled scale, a lot of nice scale detail all the way down the tail. Some large osteoderms peppered all the way throughout. So yeah, really nice figure. I am quite happy with it. Like I said, the paint apps are serviceable on it. It's not the best, but it's also not the worst in the line. Now for articulation, it's pretty basic. You get some nice upwards and downward movement and some rotation. I just wish Mattel would just go to a dedicated ball joint so we could get some nice side to side and up and down movement for the front legs. You move forwards and backwards that far before it hits the sides of the belly. Hind legs backwards and forwards. They do have a locking point for that neutral position and the totally useless tail rotation. So yeah, basic articulation, but really not that bad. I do like how they started adding a hinge joint on some of the more recent figures. That does give you some nice posing options. But like I said, really needs some side to side movement on these figures. And now for comparisons, first up here it is with the Hammond Collection Dr. Alan Grant. Einiosaurus really wasn't a big ceratopsian, like I said, around 15 feet. It's a little small to scale with the 118-inch human figures, though. And next up, here it is with Troceraptor Tiger. And let's do a couple larger species. Here it is with the Rajasaurus. And what else we got? Here it is with Stegosaurus. I think this is the one that came in the Legacy Collection. And what else is over here? And here it is with the previously reviewed Dino Trackers Sinotyrannus. And next up, here it is with a variety of ceratopsians from Mattel. They're Pentaceratops, Sinoceratops, Hammond Collection Triceratops, and the old Dino Rivals Styracosaurus. So yeah, this is even all their ceratopsians. Mattel has given us a pretty decent variety of them. I think as a whole, their ceratopsian figures are probably the best group of dinosaurs that they've done. And next up here is some non-Mattel dinosaur figures. Einiosaurus has become quite the popular ceratopsian over the years. A lot of companies have made figures of this species. Here is the Beast of the Mesozoic, the Collecte, and the Safari Limited. PNSO actually even has a mini version of Einiosaurus. So yeah, all these are really good figures. Like I said, the head sculpt on this is very similar to these more accurate figures. And I always have to bring this up when I take a Beast of the Mesozoic figure. For those of you who collect the Hammond Collection or any of the Jurassic stuff, definitely give these figures a look. They scale well with the 118 figures. They have lots of articulation. They're an absolute blast to play around with. And lastly, here it is with the Hammond Collection T-Rex, the gold standard of Mattel figures currently. So final thoughts on Mattel's take on Einiosaurus. It's a good figure. It's definitely not my favorite, but the ceratopsians as a whole have been pretty great figures in the entire line. The head sculpt is decently accurate for an Einiosaurus. Paint apps are sparse, but they actually work on this figure. It distracts away from that ugly keel scales on the back. You should have the right amount of color on the frill and on the horn. It's a decent figure. It's a very hard pain in the ass figure to track down, but if you're lucky enough to find one, I think you'd be quite happy with it. And yeah, I'm excited to finally be done reviewing Dominion figures. Can't wait to move on to more Dino Trackers. I actually got a few of them. They've been piling up. I know my review schedule has been really spotty lately. Ever since I got COVID like a month ago, my voice, like literally every other day, sounds like absolute dog crap. It sounds like I drank a glass full of gravel. Today, my voice is working fine, so I'm trying to hammer these reviews out until it gives out again. So yeah, apologize for the spotty review schedule, but I have a bunch of cool stuff coming up over the next few weeks, so stay tuned for all that. And as always, if you're enjoying the content on this channel, show your support by hitting that subscription button just below the video. Each subscription helps out the channel tremendously and it's greatly appreciated. And I'll see you guys for the next one.